This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the director of Atco Mining, Mr. Neil McCallum. Neil, it is great to have you on. How are you today?
I'm really good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, I want to talk salt. I want to talk Atco. I want to talk about, the 100% ownership of the seven salt projects in the portfolio. But before I get into all of that, I joked off air with you that, I felt like I had to thank you for some of the most recent successes that you've had in identifying properties. In the case of the Corvette district, that you and your group have turned into what's looking like a generational lithium discovery. I know that you just took on another position. So when I saw your name and I saw Atco and I looked at the tiny market cap, I said, let me reach out. Let's see if we can have a conversation on the record with Neil. But first things first, congrats on all the success here recently. Well deserved.
Oh, thanks. That's great. I think it just goes to show that you need to be early on some of these new ideas. I mean, we were looking at lithium as far back as 2015 and 2016 when we first made some of the acquisitions around Corvette. So not a lot of people believed in lithium at that time, and it kind of got forgot about for a little bit, and then it came back, and it's obviously it's the talk of the town, lithium right now. So that's kind of my reason for joining the Atco team as well. Is we're thinking not just next year, we're thinking 5 to 10 years from now for these salt projects, with the idea of getting in early, getting a good land position, getting a good following, and trying to tell the story. So that's the thought there.
Well, let me provide a bit of context. I believe you have roughly, I want to say just shy of 30 million shares outstanding. You trade roughly for, I think, 20 cents or so the last time I checked. So the market cap here is absolutely tiny. It's maybe just a tad bit above 6 million. Let's talk about salt. Why salt? This is, again, a commodity that I don't think gets looked at in our space as a commodity that can provide opportunity. Clearly, you believe in it. Clearly, you've been right more often than not in being early and putting together large, scalable projects. And clearly, you've done that here with Atco. Can you tell me about the salt space?
Absolutely. There's sort of two parts to the salt space. One of them is providing salt for as an industrial commodity for roads, for other industrial purposes, and of course road salt's another one. The other part to it is a little bit of a new story. It was new to me when I joined the board, but one part of the green energy and clean energy story that we're trying to reform the world is hydrogen. And you wouldn't think that the two go along, but hear me out. When we talk about hydrogen, a big part of that is storage. And one of the best ways to store hydrogen, there's many ways you can do it, but one of the simplest and cheapest ways to store hydrogen after you produce it is to send it into a underground salt cavern. And what we've got on our project in Newfoundland is targets that look like they could be large salt structures based on some of the old work that we've compiled. And there are some other salt structures that have been defined by drilling around us. And we're looking to provide that kind of a solution to what could be one of the largest hydrogen producing areas that could be coming within the next 2 to 3 years in Newfoundland.
Walk me through, and I'm fascinated by this, obviously, because of your past successes, right? But walk me through the vetting process for these projects, and then walk me through what you consider the highest priority projects in the portfolio in the near term, right? Obviously, every project has merit or it wouldn't be there. But in the near term, where do you tend to want to focus the bulk of your attention here?
Yeah, for Atco Salt, we've got they're called different projects, but essentially they're all within the same geologic domain. And what we've done to prove up the idea here is we flew an airborne gravity survey, which will give us a pretty good indication of where these salt domes are. When you look for a gravity low, that's typically indicating a salt dome, because those salt structures are quite a bit less dense than the rocks that are surrounding them. So what we're trying to do is repeat the success of a company called Atlas Salt, who is spinning out some of their salt dome projects into a company called Triple Point Resources, and they're slated to go public very soon. And they have a salt dome that has been drilled in the past, and there's a good chance that they are going to be on some of our projects, namely the Eagle Salt project, which is about 10 kilometers south of them.
That is fascinating to me. When we talk peers, and you just mentioned them going public, when we talk about peer valuations, can you provide a bit of context on what Atco is aiming to do? Again, I know from some of your history that you don't tend to get involved with projects if you don't believe there's pretty substantial scale. I got to believe by, the over 20,000 hectare package that you've managed to put together, that's absolutely the playbook this go round. But can you give me some peer comps on what new shareholders, I'm fascinated by this story, by the way, especially with the $6 million market cap, some peer comps as to what Atco is aiming to do here within the next couple of years?
Yeah, sure. I think the best comparison would be the Triple Point project, and I'm not sure the fundamentals on what their share structure is and valuation is going to be when they come public. But I think that we at $6 million market cap, we can do quite well by just continuing to explore and find these salt structures.
Well, that's fascinating to me. What comes next, Neil?
Yeah, well, next we'll be getting the results from our airborne survey. Should be any day now. And then the next step is going to be drill testing these. So we're going to have to do probably another financing. So pay attention to us if you like the story. Get in on the financing, and we'll be able to test these out once we get the drill rigs on the project.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to having you back on with all the catalysts that you have set up here for 2023. And we'll most definitely be having conversations about that financing. Neil, anything to add to that?
Nope, that's it. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward story.
Fantastic. I love those. I tend to tell people I'm a simple guy with simple premises, and some of my biggest winners have always had pretty simple stories around them, right? So looking forward to following this. Thanks again for your time.
Okay, absolutely.
Cheers.
Take care.
Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.